Hello again, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the StingRays Show. I'm Steve Cooney, and we've got another great lineup for you this week, including highlights from games played both in Nashville and at the Coliseum, and of course some insights and analysis from Coach Rick Vive. Our player profile will give Stingray fans a chance to meet defenseman Chris Foy, who has finally stayed in one place long enough to enable us to get to chat with him. We'll also be talking to Steve Flomenhoff, the captain of the Knoxville Cherokees, who discusses, among other things, the controversial 1994-95 East Coast Hockey League schedule. And in light of all the player movement on the Stingrays roster recently, instead of playing by the rules this week, we're going to have a conversation with General Manager Frank Milne about the moves he's already made and what may still lay ahead. First, though, we'll take you into a break with a quick look at some pertinent Stingray stats. And when we come back, we'll have highlights from the week in review and a conversation with the coach. Stay with us.
The Stingrays know that Berkeley Heating Company is your best choice for carrier heating and air conditioning. These systems qualify for SCE&G's Great Appliance Trade-Up program for rebates and savings. These units are strong enough to stand up to Canadian winters, something these guys are used to.
Winter? This isn't winter.
Carrier has the right size unit to heat or cool any space efficiently.
Sacre bleu, eh?
Berkeley Heating Company, Charleston's oldest carrier dealer, serving the Low Country for over 35 years.
We got this great car at Saturn of North Charleston. Why? No high-pressure sales tactics. We picked the options and the price we were willing to pay. The bumper-to-bumper warranty, the safety features, and a custom service plan proved to me that Saturn is the best-built American car on the road today. There's really so much to like about this baby. I use my Saturn carpooling to work. You won't believe what you can get out of a Saturn. Our Saturn of North Charleston Week in Review begins Tuesday in Nashville, where the Knights were already leading 1-0 when Steve Shields made this sliding save on Derek Everly early in the second period to keep the Rays within a goal. The score remained 1-0 Nashville until 7 minutes into the third period, when Sylvain Fleury and Cam Daniluk combined to set up Evan Corbin in the slot, and he beat Craig Brown with a wrist shot to tie it at 1 apiece. The Knights regained their 2-goal lead less than 2 minutes later, and then with under 3 minutes remaining in the game, Alexander Chunchikov added an insurance marker to make the final score 3-1 Nashville. Saturday night at the Coliseum, South Carolina played host to Raleigh. And the only time the red light went on in the first period, it was disallowed because Marty Dahlman thought he'd try out his new handball stroke on Ice Caps goaltender Chad Erickson, who didn't like it much. The Stingrays finally broke the scoreless tie early in the second period when Gary Sosha busted right through the middle of the Raleigh defense and moved in to rip a backhand shot by Erickson, and that proved to be the game-winning goal. South Carolina increased its lead to 2-0 before the halfway point of the middle frame when some persistent forechecking freed the puck up for Brett Marietti, and he moved around the pileup in front of the Ice Caps goal crease to fire it into a wide-open net. Meanwhile, Steve Shields was turning away everything Raleigh had to offer. He was particularly sharp in the second period, stopping 13 shots, including this one by Spencer Meany that would have pulled the Ice Caps to within a goal. But the score remained 2-0 until late in the final period when Dahlman showed he could also score with his stick. He actually redirected an Evan Corbin shot past Erickson to make it 3-0, and that was the icing on the cake. The victory was the 11th in a row for the Stingrays on home ice. Seems hard to believe they had trouble winning at the Coliseum earlier this season, doesn't it? And the shutout was the second for Shields in a week and South Carolina's third of the season. On Sunday night at the Coliseum, the Rays faced Birmingham for the final time in the regular season, and the Bulls led 1-0 early before South Carolina came back to even it up on the power play. Chris Foy took the shot from the point, and Dean Hewlett was parked in the slot where he was able to get a stick on it and deflect it high into the net over Sergei Tkachenko's shoulder. Then the Bulls' power play went to work, scoring 2 goals in less than 3 minutes on successive opportunities. Chris Bergeron got the first one when he picked up a rebound from Dave Kravich's point shot and dribbled it past Shields on the far side. Then Bergeron drew an assist when he intercepted a clearing attempt near the blue line and fired a shot that Shields stopped. But Ian Hebert was all alone when he picked up the rebound, and all of a sudden it was 3-1 Bulls. Birmingham moved ahead 4-1 early in the second. Then Jason Fitzsimmons replaced Steve Shields, and the South Carolina offense erupted. Marty Dahlman started the onslaught. After taking a feed from Sylvain Fleury, he moved into the slot and beat Tkachenko high to the glove side. That made it 4-2, and about a minute and a half later, they were buzzing around the Bulls zone again when they worked the puck back to Dave Cooper at the point, and he unloaded a blast that Tkachenko appeared to be screened on. The StingRays continued their relentless pressure, and just over 2 minutes later, it paid off when Cooper took another shot from the point, and Brett Marietti picked up the rebound and fired it through a crowd past Tkachenko to tie it at 4. South Carolina finally took the lead when Olaf Jenstad lost the puck to Fleury at the Birmingham blue line, and the veteran winger moved in alone and went high on Tkachenko's glove side again to make it 5-4 Rays. That's the way it ended as the StingRays staged a tremendous comeback to win their 12th straight at home, and on every goal but one that they scored in this game, their defense played a key role.
Well, I think that's our biggest strength right now is the mobility of our defensemen and the ability they have to get the puck and move it out of our zone and move it up to the forwards. And the least amount of time you spend in your own zone, the better off you're going to be as far as I'm concerned. And I've got 5 guys that can go back and grab it and move it up or carry it out of our zone. And when you have 5 defense that have the ability to do that, it makes your game plan so much easier because they just get it out and then you can go on the attack.
And as you say, that transition game come playoff time is critical.
I think so. I think it's real critical in the playoffs. I mean, again, the old adage is that the least amount of time you spend in your own zone, the better chance you have of winning a hockey game. And right now, that's what we're doing. We're moving it out, and we're getting it out of our zone quickly.
We've talked about this before, but it doesn't seem to matter who's going out on the ice now. They're getting the job done. You've had some personnel changes in the past week, and some key ones. I mean, in fact, you got rid of your one guy who was tied for the leading scoring spot on the team, and yet you still managed to get enough to win games.
Well, I think, Steve, that was a pretty difficult decision for us to make, obviously, with a guy like Craig Lyons, being that he was tied for the scoring lead on our hockey club. But, you know, you have to look at a lot of different things, and we're not looking at the next few games or the last part of the season. We were looking at playoffs. And you know, it's not a knock on Craig. He's a different kind of a hockey player. But Craig's not the type of player that goes into the traffic in front of the net and scores those tough goals, so to speak, or works in the corners. And playoff time, you got to have guys that are willing to do that, guys that are willing to take a hit in front of the net to score that big goal. And we feel that we've got a guy in Dean Hewlett that is the type of player that'll do that. And maybe he hasn't scored as many goals as Craig has, but in the playoffs, you wait and see what happens, that he'll be one of the guys that'll score that big winning goal some night in a playoff game because he's gone into traffic and taken a hit to make the play.
As you head further down the stretch, I guess if the team has an area that you'd like to see improve, obviously, we touched on it earlier, would be in the ability to score goals, but I guess if you're not giving them up, you don't need that many.
Well, I wouldn't have to say just our ability to score goals. I think my biggest concern right now, Steve, is our power play. Our power play has been rather ineffective the last, oh gosh, I don't know how many games, but in the last
dozen or so,
10 or 12 games, we've gone like 2 for 40 or something like that. So our power play has not been going all that well, and it's one of those things that power plays are a key, and penalty killing's a key in playoffs because the penalties aren't going to be, or your power play chances aren't going to be as bountiful in the playoffs. You might get 2, 3 per game, and if you can click at 25, 30, 33% on your power play, that's 1 goal per game almost. So all of a sudden those 2-1 games become 3-1 games, and those 2-2 overtime games become a 3-2 victory. So if our power play gets going, we're going to be that much tougher to beat.
In the week coming up, you've got 4 games on the road. You're into Roanoke, which is a tough club playing in that Eastern Division. They moved up near the top of that division now. You've also got to go into Knoxville and Nashville. Knoxville for a pair and Nashville for another one. We keep saying it, not an easy week. I guess none of them are at this stage.
Well, none of them are, I think, but I think one thing we got going for us right now, Steve, is that I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on us as far as making the playoffs. You know, I think we're pretty solid as far as that goes, but I think it's a big challenge for us because our goal is to finish in the top 4 overall so that we secure home ice advantage for at least the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And we're in a battle right now. We're right there, right at 4th, 5th place, like a point or 2 out of 4th, or tied, or in 4th by ourselves, depending on what happens on any given night. And therefore, these games down the stretch become very, very important. You know, I keep stressing to these guys how important it is to get that home ice advantage. And when you play in front of 10,500 crazy fans here in Charleston, it's almost like it's almost like a 1-goal advantage. And it sure would be nice to have that home ice advantage for 2 full rounds.
We got this great car at Saturn of North Charleston. Why? No high-pressure sales tactics. We picked the options and the price we were willing to pay. The bumper-to-bumper warranty, the safety features, and a custom service plan proved to me that Saturn is the best-built American car on the road today. There's really so much to like about this baby. I use my Saturn carpooling to work. You won't believe what you can get out of a Saturn.
If you love golf, if you truly have a passion for the game, then you owe yourself a round at Coosaw Creek Country Club, the Low Country's best-kept secret. Located just minutes from downtown off Dorchester Road north of Ashley Phosphate, this gorgeous Arthur Hills layout is as accessible as it is challenging. Come see for yourself. You might even decide to stay. Coosaw Creek Country Club. Call today for tee times or real estate information.
Down here at Moultrie Tavern, we know a little bit about northern aggression. We all like hockey here. Oh, here come some StingRays now.
Down!
They're all nice boys, seriously. The whole team enjoys our plantation cuisine. We have game dishes of quail, duck, and rabbit.
More shrimp, please.
Coming up.
StingRays love our famous shrimp. Service is fast and friendly. If you don't see your favorite dish, ask Robert. Maybe he can dig it up for you. That's the Moultrie Tavern in the heart of the historic district, downtown Charleston.
Chris Foy's travel agent must love him. He was traded here by Richmond on January the 17th, played his first game for the StingRays at the Coliseum on the 18th, was called up to Rochester on the 19th, and then rejoined the Rays on February the 1st. But as far as he's concerned, the opportunity to get in some time up in the AHL made all the upheaval in his life worthwhile.
Oh, I thought it was great. You always look forward to get called up, and that's why you're playing this league is to get called up. And I thought it was a great experience going up there. I would have liked to play it a little more, but overall I thought it was a pretty good experience.
Did it surprise you that it happened that quickly? I mean, 1 game in and all of a sudden you're up?
I had heard rumors that there was a good possibility that it was going to happen, but I drove 6 hours to come down here. I played 1 game, and all of a sudden I was gone. So, I think if you ask anybody, it's a surprise to them as well as me.
What's it like for a player adapting to a trade like that? Because you came from a club that was going pretty good in Richmond. You came to another club that at that time wasn't going all that good, but has since started to. What's the first thing that goes through your mind?
Well, to be honest, I was very surprised I was traded in the first place. Roy Sommer, the coach of Richmond Renegades, he and I have been very good friends over the last 2 years. I played for him last year, and I also played roller hockey for him in the summer. So, as you can imagine, it was a pretty big surprise for me. But coming down here is also a bonus. I mean, like you said, the the team is starting to do very well. You know, we're first place in the division, and you know, overall the whole management, everyone around here, and the players have all made me feel really welcome. So it's been a great experience.
How have you enjoyed the area, the arena, that sort of thing?
Oh, it's you know, it's the best arena in the league, and everyone in the league knows it. You know, coming here last year, everyone was excited. You know, there's not too many people who want to go on a 6-hour bus ride, but coming to Charleston was always a pleasure, and you know, playing here is just that much better.
Watching you play the game, the feeling that I would get is that you're what would be classed as maybe an offensive-minded defenseman. Not that you don't take care of the store too, but you seem offensively inclined for a defenseman.
Definitely. I mean, you know, something I've been given, some of the skills I've been given are the fact that I can skate really well and I can move the puck pretty well, and that's something I like to use to my advantage. But you know, I was struggling a little bit at the start of the year, and you know, I wanted to take care of my defensive zone, and you know, as a result, I haven't been getting as many points, but you know, my defensive game has improved. But you know, like you said, whenever I get a chance to go up the ice, I make the best of it.
The kind of system that they play here with the StingRays is a very defensive-oriented system too. So I guess in regards to pursuing what you want to do and improve your defensive play, this has got to help.
Oh, definitely. I mean, my defensive stats, my plus minus have improved greatly since I've come here, and you know, that's always been a goal of mine, is always to, you know, take care of your own end first and then go out if you can. You know, the style here is just, you know, perfect, like you said, for my defensive game.
What's your assessment of the team as a whole? What do you think the club's strengths are?
If I were to look at the team, like from what I've seen the last couple of games I've played, I think we're a very disciplined team, very big team in compared to the other teams I've played in the Richmond division. I'd have to say our team is very disciplined, and we can use our speed to our advantage, and that's something that we're going to have to use in order to, you know, keep going in the playoffs.
As we've discussed on this show throughout the season, the 1994-95 ECHL schedule has been the cause of a fair bit of complaining ever since it was first introduced. But as we found out when we spoke to Knoxville Cherokee's captain Steve Flomenhoff, there are those who look at this so-called controversy as something of a tempest in a teapot.
It's really not all that much different from last year. You know, you played 2 games against your non-division opponents, and all the rest of the games were against your division, so it's a little more skewed this year. You know, I think maybe from a fan and a player's point of view, you'd like to see the other teams a little more, but you know, you can't sit there and worry about it. Just, you know, play the schedule, and you know, maybe you'll see someone else in the playoffs.
One of the tough things about it is going to be the fact that the way the playoffs are structured, with it being overall standings that decide who you meet instead of divisional stuff, you could conceivably meet somebody in the playoffs that you have never seen during the regular season.
True. That has its pros and cons. On the one hand, you're kind of going into the unknown, but on the other hand, you know, well, I don't know. You don't know the other team, they don't know you. So there's certain things that it works both ways, and it's just kind of like saying, well, the ice is bad. You know, both teams got to play on that surface, and it's not different for either team. And you know, even in a 5-game series, all it takes is a period or two to really get to know the other team, and from then on, you know, just like you're playing your division opponent.
The way that your division, the South Division, has been going this year, you just knew that if anybody got to put a run together, that they could pull away, because I think right up until the StingRays made their move, there was like 7 points from first to last for about a month or a month and a half. It didn't take much to get some distance in there.
No, I mean, the whole division has been bunched up until recently, and except for, you know, South Carolina, it really still is. But in the overall picture, you know, it like you said, it's seeded 1 through 16, so we're not concerned so much with South Carolina as we are concerned with where we stand versus the rest of the teams. And at this point, we're really fighting and scratching to get a home ice berth in the first round. You know, the top 8 teams, and that's really what we have to be concerned with. Not, you know, maybe use South Carolina as that thing off in the distance to try and catch and that type of thing. But you know, we're still in a position to get home ice, and we'll see what happens.
You came out of the college hockey in the Ivy League to turn pro right off the bat. That makes you, I don't want to say a bit of an exception, but there aren't that many pro players that have come the Ivy League route, but it's seemingly there's more and more all the time now.
Well, I mean, I think in general, there's more college players in the pro game, and the Ivy League, there's 6 teams from the Ivy League that play hockey. They're a subset, part of the ECHL, and there's more opportunities with expansion and that type of thing. So I think it's just part of the overall larger trend.
You've had a chance to spend a little while in the ECHL now. Do you find a big change in the caliber of play in the league in the time you've been here?
Between last year and this year is really not that much difference. Each team is going to have different personnel because the farther you go down the ladder, the more turnover there is in personnel. So some teams get a little weaker, some teams get a little stronger, but overall it's a fairly strong caliber of play.
The StingRays know that Berkeley Heating Company is your best choice for carrier heating and air conditioning. These systems qualify for SCENG's Great Appliance Trade-Up program for rebates and savings. These units are strong enough to stand up to Canadian winters, something these guys are used to.
Winter? This isn't winter.
Carrier has the right size unit to heat or cool any space efficiently.
Sacre bleu, eh?
Berkeley Heating Company, Charleston's oldest carrier dealer, serving the Low Country for over 35 years.
Down here at Moultrie Tavern, we know a little bit about northern aggression. We all like hockey here. Oh, here comes some StingRays now.
Down!
They're all nice boys, seriously. The whole team enjoys our plantation cuisine. We have game dishes of quail, duck, and rabbit.
More shrimp, please.
Coming
The
up.
StingRays love our famous shrimp. Service is fast and friendly. If you don't see your favorite dish, ask Robert. Maybe he can dig it up for you. That's the Moultrie Tavern in the heart of the historic district, downtown Charleston.
It's been an active week for StingRays general manager Frank Milne. Not only did he trade one of the team's more popular players in winger Craig Lyons, he also sold Rob Sumner, who was the club's captain when the season began. And as is usually the case when this type of activity involves players who have had a chance to establish themselves, the job is never an easy one.
I learned a long time ago, you can't sit on your laurels. You've got to try and improve the hockey club every day of the week. And that's my job, and 7 days a week I'm talking to other clubs about other players. Now that our trade deadline is over, now I'm talking to American League and International League teams that may have players that just quite don't fit their lineup, but they could come down here and play. And we have until March the 6th to do that.
So there is a chance that it isn't over yet?
No, I wouldn't say that our lineup is solid yet. We've besides the players, the pros that are in the American League and the International League that are available to us, there's also the senior college players that some of them graduate in February, some of the 1st of March, and also the overage juniors where their clubs aren't going to make the playoffs. And Buffalo and Vancouver have a lot of players that they drafted last year, the year before, that their junior careers are going to be through this year.
Any particular areas that you're looking at shoring up still? I guess from the outside looking in, I would think your defense is probably as good as it's been all year with the personnel you have now, but is there any other area that you may be looking at?
You're right, our defense is solid, I think, and we're happy with the goaltending right now. We're looking at some forwards. We could do with a little more toughness up front and probably a little more goal scoring. The game, as you know, over the years changes. As soon as the playoffs start, this game changes entirely. And it becomes a tougher game to play. And some players are knocked because they're not tough enough. And last year was a perfect example for our team. We chased Hampton Roads out of the building here in the first game, but when we went up to their building, they chased us out of the building for the next 2 games. And I don't want that to happen this year.
The idea that the team has, I guess to put it bluntly, has lacked scoring punch all year, lacked that killer ability to put teams away, would lead you to believe that maybe scoring is still something that you have to search for.
I think probably we need a little more scoring, but then the decisions that are made with our players are not entirely all made by me. Marcel and Rick and I sit down and we discuss certain players and players that we think we can improve on, and you're right, scoring is what we need.
You talked about how hockey changes come playoff time. During this good stretch that the StingRays have put together recently, they've been playing playoff-type hockey, so that has to give you at least some sense of confidence as the playoffs loom.
Yes, our goal, our shots against are one of the lowest in the league, which is a good sign. At the first of the year, I wasn't very happy, neither was Rick, about our defensive play in our own zone. That's tightened up considerably. And we get in the playoffs, you're going to get into low-scoring games, hopefully. And if we get into low-scoring games, I think that we have an upper hand there. I think that defensively, we're as good as anybody. Our defense core, as we'd said before, I think is great, one of the best in the league.
Not only defensively, but offensively, too.
Well, you're absolutely right. The thing that's good about our defense is we've got good wheels. I mean, which means that all the defensemen can really skate. Sometimes you get defensemen that are slow of foot, and they help you defensively, but offensively they add nothing to you. But our defense is good that way. I think that we're about. We still have 3 players that are with Rochester that are available to us for the playoffs, and that's Mike Bavis, Paul Rushforth, and Tom Nemeth. Now, if we could get 2 of them back, I mean, we're going to be in great shape. Nemeth, I'm still holding out hopes for him. If he came back into our lineup with the other boys, I think that we'd be set.
Well, that wraps it up for this edition of the StingRays Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and please remember, if you've got friends who are hockey fans, now's the time to tell them about us, because we're into that part of the season they won't want to miss out on. You can catch us every Sunday at midnight on Fox 24 and Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock on Comcast Cable Channel 2, so be sure and tune in again. In the meantime, I'm Steve Cooney. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the rink.